Hey, this is Tyler from analytive.com. Today we're going to talk about a man-in-the-middle attack. And so first of all, what is a man-in-the-middle attack? Well, when you're online, you load a web page, as an example, right? As a user, you make a request to a server. So here we have the user making a request to the server, right? So the user on the left side is you making the request to the server, right? And that's on the right. And then the server then sends a response. So it sends some kind of response, whether it's a 500 error, a server error, a 404 error, or ideally a 200 code, which is actually effectively that everything's working and it sends you a web page. So what we can do then is we can actually get in the middle of these if that connection is not encrypted or encrypted improperly. And so why does this matter, right? So as a hacker, we can come in and say, okay, we can actually intercept and we can change the communication en route. And this is a problem. And so I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. So first of all, let me get out of this. But before I do that, let me just give you a quick disclaimer. The information is strictly for educational purposes. It's not cool and is definitely illegal to hack sites that you don't own or control. All the sites we'll hack in this presentation have been set up specifically for the purpose of hacking and contain no sensitive data. So if it's not your site, don't do this. Okay, cool. Let's talk about man-in-the-middle attacks. So let me show you what I have set up here. So first of all, I have Firefox open on the left-hand panel here. And I have our hackme.analytive.com site loaded and ready to go. Okay. Now, on the right-hand side here, I have what's called Burpsuite. And so Burpsuite is a tool that allows you to effectively proxy, right, or send traffic through the tool before it gets to the web. So what's happening is typically the web browser here goes straight out to the internet. But that's not what's happening in this case. In this case, the web browser hits this proxy, and then it goes from this proxy out to the internet. And so I'm actually then intercepting the traffic that is coming through from the web browser. So it's set up as a proxy. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, let me go ahead and show you. So I'm going to go ahead and just refresh this page. So boom, hit enter, it's going to refresh. So it's over here, it's connecting. And so what it's doing is it's sending a GET request via HTTP to the site hackme.analytive.com, and it gives us a little bit of information. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to allow this request that I've just captured to go through. So I'm going to hit forward. Okay, now what I have here is a response from the server. Okay, so then this is actually, if you look down here, you will recognize that this is in fact the HTTP page that we can see. So we are intercepting this page before it loads over here. So remember, I just hit refresh, and right now the title of this blog post is Hello World, right? But I can actually change that. So I'm going to do a find. Oops. Okay. Forward. So let's turn that off, and let me try that one more time. So hit refresh. Okay, and refresh. Okay, so let's forward. Okay, so here we have our HTTP page. And so I'm going to look for the Hello World blog post. And so I found that down here. Okay, so right here, this is actually the H1 tag that has Hello World in it, right? So that's this tag right up here. But remember, I caught this page before it gets back to this page on the left. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. So I'm going to change this H1 to say you've, if I could spell, you've been hacked. Right? So now, what happens if I forward this to this page? Forward and forward. Boom. And so I had to forward a bunch of other stuff before it would load. I will talk about that a little later. But so you've been hacked, right? So now I've basically intercepted the communication as it goes through Burpsuite here, and I forwarded it onto this site. So I've actually changed nothing on the site. What I've done is I've captured the communication en route. Let me go back to the keynote here. I've captured the communication en route, and I've changed it between the server and between the user. So that's a basic man-in-the-middle attack. You say, okay, fine, what's the big deal? Well, first of all, you can change anything that is unencrypted. You could change a bank account balance, you could change a Facebook status, you could change anything like that. But let's go ahead and let's turn our intercept off, and I'll show you where this could become a problem as well. So we'll go to the WP admin side of this website, and we're going to log in as if we were going to log in as an admin. So in this case, the password or the username is subscriber, and the password I have down here in a text document. It's this password right here. Okay, so we're going to enter that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. So I'm going to send this along. Oops, got to make sure I'm capturing. So let me log back out again. Okay, so I'm going to turn intercept on. I'm going to type in subscriber and the password, and let's hit log in. So I've now captured this request. But look down here. Because this is unencrypted, the username right here, which is subscriber, and the password, which the %40 here is HTML encoding for the @ sign, is actually passing unencrypted through the web. Right? So it's passing unencrypted. So I can literally capture this just like I did, and I can see this. Right? So we can forward that. Let's go ahead and turn intercept off. But now I know the username and the password for the website. So I can take that information and I can now log in as the user. That is very, very, very problematic. So that's why having HTTPS on your site is really important. And you say, okay, well, who could listen to this, right, potentially? Well, that's a great question. Anybody that sets up a Wi-Fi sniffing device or a Wi-Fi pineapple, they could listen to your traffic. So if you're at a coffee shop and somebody sets up a computer or a router that says, hey, free Wi-Fi, they can listen to it. Network administrators. So if you're connected anywhere that has a network that has an active administrator and they're logging the traffic, they can actually see this unencrypted traffic that passes through. On the broader web, any internet service provider or any government agency can easily see unencrypted traffic. Or anybody in the data center, right? Most servers live in these data centers. And so anybody in the data center can see whether or not this traffic is encrypted or not. And if it's not encrypted, they can read it. There was a story a few years ago about somebody actually using a man-in-the-middle attack to get access to Facebook. Facebook used to have their login secure, but the rest of the website was not. And they were actually able to use a man-in-the-middle attack to do cookie jacking, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and capture the traffic. And so that story is right here. Let me pull up the article. Back in 2011. So Facebook has long since fixed this problem, but Tunisia was the company, and the government in this case actually was able to capture Facebook traffic and log in as people, many of them journalists. So that is why it's super, super important to have a secure encrypted connection on your page.